All right, guys. Now, chapter 7. It's been a long chapter. We've covered a lot. We are at the end of it. We've learned about trigonometry. We've learned how to solve for missing sides, and we've learned how to solve for missing angles. So the last thing we're going to do this week is focus on what does this look like in real world context? How can we use trigonometry to solve word problems? All right, we'll skip the entrance card for now. What I want to get right into and keep this video short is what do these trigonometry word problems look like? Well, something like this. Either you're worried about an angle of incline. So here we have a building that is 50 feet high. At a distance away from the building, an observer notices the angle of elevation to the top of the building is 41 degrees. To the nearest foot, how far is the observer from the base of the building? So what makes these so tricky is reading comprehension, right? And what I'd recommend is always doing what we can see here, which is that draw a picture, right? I'm not always going to include something like this. It'll be your job to read and then piece something like this together, which I think you are very capable of doing. So you'll say, okay, building 50 feet, and just be like, okay, draw building, doesn't really matter. Okay, building, we'll do a door right here. We're gonna have a lot of fun this week. We'll do some competitions. We can do the best drawings, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then there's this person. This person's standing over here, and they say, oh, I'm using this little device, and like you ever see people doing construction, they got those the sites. I'm already forgetting the word for it as I'm recording a video. Oops. But the idea is that they say, I'm noticing when I look up, it's a 41 degree angle to look up to get to the top of this 50-foot tall building. Well, how far am I from the building? I'm solving for a missing side. It's just a triangle where I say, okay, opposite adjacent, it's tangent. The tangent of 41 is 50 over x. I've solved these problems plenty of times. So that's angle of incline. What I want to talk about and make sure I cover in this video is angle of depression. Okay? Here we have an observer standing at the top of a vertical cliff, and they have an angle of depression. They look down to see a house. They're 60 feet. They're at this cliff at 60 feet in the air. So how far away is the house? The trick is you can see this picture fills it in correctly. They go, oh yeah, easy, 12-degree angle depression, which means this is 78, which means that this is 12. But people will very, very frequently, they'll draw the picture. Okay, yeah, there's a guy. He's at the top of a cliff. Got it. Yeah, and what's the angle to the house, Mr. Card? You said it's 12? And then they'll do this. They'll put the 12 right here. Instead of saying, no. The 12 is the difference. The 12 is this. And so this has to be 78. And then we know that this is 12 as well through a couple things. One, you could say 78 plus 90 plus x has to equal 180. Another thing I always say is these are parallel, right? You're looking straight across. That's going to run parallel with the ground. And this then counts as like a transversal, which makes these alternate interior angles. So there's a lot of different ways that you could prove, oh yeah, these two are just the same. Okay, so if you want to use the 12, you still can, right? You could still be like, well, the tangent of 12 degrees is 60 over x. Or you could set up that the tangent of 78 is x over 60, depending on your, you might look at this and say, well, I know this is easier, Mr. Card, because then I just multiply both sides by 60 and I'm done. Whereas this requires, kind of some cross multiplying, and then you'd wind up doing 60 divided by the tangent of 12, but you'll get the same answer either way. So we'll do more of these where it's like, I'll do lots of like planes. Like here's the plane, it's coming in, and it goes, all right, what is the angle of depression that I need to find, to start making sure I land at the runway? That's the other thing. Both of these questions are for solving a missing side. There's no reason I couldn't just say, hey, the house is this far away, and you're this high up on the cliff, what is the angle of depression? I could make you find that too. There's no reason you wouldn't be able to do that. We just did inverse all week. All right. We're going to focus for the rest of this week, like 5 days in a row of just, let's make sure we're comfortable and competent with reading these word problems, identifying the essential information, synthesizing that essential information into an illustration. Because, I personally am a visual learner, and I think you're going to find your life a lot easier if you make a setup like this first and then say, okay, what is it I need to do to solve this problem? Instead of trying to guess sine, cosine, tangent based on the information there. So I'll end the video here, and hopefully it